So we gotta talk about the freaking X-Men up in this bitch. Oh man, I was just explaining this to you guys, but we get all kinds of info. We've been getting a ton of info about all the Marvel shit, but really Doomsday, right? It's really all about Doomsday. This is the first piece of new info that we've gotten in maybe 6 to 7 months that I think really does change things. And I'm excited. Okay, so this has to do with the X-Men. Daniel had something he said yesterday that was mind-blowing to me. Check this out right here, okay? It says, in Avengers Doomsday, the X-Men universe is on a path to destroy other universes, including the MCU's Earth 616. Okay, now, right off the bat, I must issue a bit of a warning here, right? This is clearly just a little tease from Daniel. I'm about to speculate an insane amount. So just take it as speculation. It's speculation. We don't know for sure. But do you know what this has me thinking? Do you know why this has me so excited? I was kind of under this impression that the X-Men in Doomsday would be kind of just chilling. And then, obviously, Maria Rambeau is there, and the incursions are happening, and it's a big problem. But there's something interesting when you think back to the Marvels. Remember that Beast says something like, "You're from a different universe," which is impossible, but here we are. Kind of suggesting that the people of that universe had a little bit of a familiarity with the multiverse and multi-universes. Okay? So I was kind of under the impression that maybe this is just an X-Men universe, the multiverse is collapsing, and these X-Men are going to be victims. They're going to be victims, and they're going to be victims of circumstance, and we're going to feel bad for them. We're going to put them at odds with the 616, and it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be like, oh shit, like sorry about this, but you're going to have to go. Well now, news scoop from Daniel says they're on a path to destroy other universes, including the MCU's Earth 616. Guys, first thing this makes me think of is Time Runs Out, the Jonathan Hickman story, and other versions of the Illuminati that were out there playing what is known as the Game of Worlds. Oh, I can't wait to gush about this shit, man. Okay, so the Game of Worlds. It was the idea that as the multiverse was collapsing, many different universes learned about it and essentially gathered up a team and did what they could to try to stop it. And they would run into different things. Sometimes they would run into different universes. Sometimes they would be at odds with the Illuminati from 616. Sometimes the Illuminati from 616 would just watch through the bridge and we would watch other universes die. There was even a universe where Reed and Doom work together. Reed gets killed. Or no, Doom gets killed. It devastates that version of Reed, and then Reed fights against them, and then they die too. And there were other people. So there were like the Black Swans, Rabom Allah. There were the Map Makers. There were the All-Seeing Eyes. There were all sorts of different groups out there playing this thing called the Game of Worlds, right? Now look, Doomsday is seemingly kind of coming out of nowhere. You know, Thunderbolt sets it up a bit, Fantastic Four sets it up a bit, but not really, guys. We're damn sure not getting the same setup that we got in the Hickman stuff, right? However, I think Doomsday is Time Runs Out. And in fact, we might see a 1-2 punch with Doomsday and then the secret movie that they drop in 2027 during the summer, which could be a prequel that shows you what was happening during Time Runs Out and the Game of Worlds, right? It's seeming more and more like Doomsday itself literally will be Time Runs Out. And we're going to learn about these other universes. I would venture to say we're going to learn about the Fantastic Four universe. We'll spend time in 616. We'll spend time in 10005, which is the X-Men universe. And I expect a Wakandan universe as well. I'm definitely thinking after that light show and the concept art of the new T'Challa, I definitely think we're getting a T'Challa universe, a fucking Black Panther, a Wakanda-esque utopia universe. And I think you're going to be seeing these universes battle against each other. Alex kind of hinted that Tobey Maguire's universe might be seen in Doomsday as well. And what a way to open the film. What if we see Tobey Maguire's universe and a portal opens and the fucking Fox X-Men come in there, and they destroy him, and they destroy that universe. Okay, so that's where my head goes to, because, dude, time runs out. That was the joy. That was a part of what made Hickman's run so great, was there's all this story and build-up, and it was the tragic cost of life and the tragic compromises and the sacrifices that the heroes had to make, billions of lives being destroyed to try to save other billions of lives, okay? So, look, again, this is speculation. Let's try to curb our enthusiasm, but oh my God, the X-Men universe is on a path to destroy other universes. Now, I'm going to take this to another place that's really crazy, and that has to do with the Scarlet Witch, okay? To combine to this story, Alex Perez said yesterday that he's heard that Wanda will be a part of the X-Men universe. So Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch is going to be in Doomsday. According to Chris Claremont, there'll be multiple versions, the evil and the good version of Wanda in Doomsday, okay? And so, according to Alex Perez, Wanda will be in the X-Men universe. Magneto will be ruling Genosha. She will be his daughter and the royal family. So, Polaris, friggin' Pietro, and Wanda, and then Magnus, or Eric, they're the rulers. That's the royal X-Men family. Okay, now, hold that thought. If this X-Men universe is destroying other universes, then the Illuminati of this X-Men universe, or what they might call, and I want you to write this down or just keep it in your brain, the New Society. I just want you to I shouldn't even say that. Just remember the New Society, okay? I think there will be a group on that X-Men universe that will be something like the Illuminati, maybe called the Great Society, and they're out there studying the multiverse. In fact, they're probably out there destroying universes. And in fact, won't it be interesting if they're doing this and Professor Xavier's keeping it a secret, Magnus is keeping it a secret, maybe the Scarlet Witch is keeping it a secret, right? That would be nuts, dude. It could also explain why Doom, and this, dude, this is like, dude, I'm telling you, we're fucking cooking, baby. We're fucking cooking. I got two more things to tell you that are going to blow your fucking mind. Okay? Number one, this actually would explain why Doom convinces the Avengers to go fight the X-Men universe. Because look, on the one hand, you might say, oh, they need to stop the incursion. They need to get Monica out of there. Totally. But why do they need to send the Sentinels? Why do they need to attack the X-Mansion? That is a little too crazy. Right? I could understand them being like, hey, we need to get our friend back. We cannot have the incursion going on. And the other question would be like, why wouldn't the X-Men universe just give her back? Why wouldn't the X-Men universe just give her back? Oh, I've got an explanation. They've been out there fucking killing universes. And Doom knows it, and he also knows how formidable they are. That's why he goes to 616. That's why he's going to attack the X-Men. That's why the Sentinels will be used. Because this X-Men universe is not just a happy-go-lucky victim X-Men universe. This X-Men universe is killing other universes. And as somebody points out in chat, they do have the Bangles. Binary has the Bangles. It's possible Binary is the one letting them into other universes, and then Wanda goes into the universe and fucks them up. Okay, again, we're just speculating here, but let me tell you something else that's going to blow your mind. And if this is what it is, if they actually do this, I'm going to stand up in the theater and start hooting and hollering, because this would be so perfect, okay? Let's talk about Doctor Doom and Wanda Maximoff. Now, for the longest time, we've heard rumors that Wanda and Doom will be together in some capacity in this film, that they're going to be even romantically involved. But how does that make sense? With everything else that we've heard, it's very difficult to imagine that Doom has a girlfriend named Wanda and that she's the Scarlet Witch. Like, you try to take all these things you hear and you fit them into what you think you know about the movie, right? And this particular one is hard to reconcile. Now, it could be the Wanda from our universe. Okay. But then, are you telling me that Doom's going to show up at Avengers Tower with the Fantastic Four and Wanda? And he's going to be like, yo, guys, I'm Doom, but I'm actually Tony. So you know me because you knew my variant Tony. By the way, this is the Fantastic Four. My buddy Reed, his family. Oh, and you know this gal, this Wanda, we've been dating for some time. She's pretty cool. You think that's what it is? Man, shut the fuck up. That would be so lame and stupid. But I got a way that they could make it happen. Let's go back to the Game of Worlds. What's the Game of Worlds? The Game of Worlds is all these people like Doctor Doom, like Doctor Strange and Clea, and potentially like the X-Men of this 10005 universe are out there destroying universes. They're out there killing other realities to try to stop incursions. Well, who's the most powerful X-Men? I mean, it could be Phoenix, but we know that Wanda is very powerful. We know that. And we know Wanda has kind of popped off in other universes. And we know there's this big, thing in the Darkhold, prophecy, that the Scarlet Witch is either there to destroy the cosmos or rule over the cosmos. So if I'm Magneto or I'm a member of the Illuminati in the X-Men universe, and we're destroying universes, I'm using the Scarlet Witch to do this. So I'm having the Scarlet Witch, my daughter, or, friend of mine or whatever, go out there and destroy universes. Okay. Well, I'm reminded of the Black Swan. The Black Swan is a person that has their universe destroyed and then is recruited by Doctor Doom when she's very young. And then she joins in an actual religion, worshiping Rabum Allah. So, I'm going to give you a scenario. Doctor Doom begins to study the multiverse, understands what's going on, and he's out there trying to stop the incursions. Wanda is out there destroying universes, trying to decide what's going on, and she's out there trying to play the Game of Worlds. Well, what if these two beings meet? What if these two beings show up to a universe and decide they should destroy it together? And what if Victor Von Doom manipulates this Wanda into siding with him? Now, I always thought, just because it's Doctor Doom and I know Doom from the comics and all that, I've always thought that Doom was going to trick people and flip the script eventually in the movie. So he's pretending to be Tony Stark. He's pretending to get help from the Avengers. He's going after the X-Men. But I assume this is all a machination, and I assume at some point it's going to flip on its head. I always thought a person on that X-Men universe would be working with Doom. Because this X-Men universe, like, even before we knew that they might be evil and they're out there destroying universes, just the fact that they exist and they're a big part of this film, Doom is going to have relationships with them. Doom is, like, the very first day of shooting was RDJ as Doctor Doom shooting internal scenes in the X-Mansion. That was confirmed. So Doom has already shot scenes inside the X-Mansion. Okay? I always thought a member of this X-Men group was going to flip. So I kind of thought it would be Magneto. Like, I thought they'd be fighting against them, Charles and Magneto fighting against Doom and the Avengers, and all of a sudden Magneto lets the guard down. He allows Doom to come in, and he says, I'm sorry, Charles. I'm going to side with Victor. He's the one that's going to give us a place in the new world. Right? And I was like, oh, shit, that would be crazy. Like, the X-Men fighting against Doom, and then all of a sudden, like, one of them's his lieutenants. Like, one of them's like, oh, shit, I actually side with Victor. But now, I think it could be Wanda. I think it deadass could be Wanda Maximoff And she's the one that's going to flip on that X-Men universe. And there could be something with her father, because it's an interesting character thing where Magneto always wants to rule, control, and have power. And as his daughter, you have some of those same ambitions, but maybe you feel like your father is doing it wrong. Maybe the daughter feels that she can side with Victor. Victor claims all the same things that her father always did, but Victor seems to have the power to actually make it happen. You know what I mean? So there's like a character way to get there, where she's going to support Victor and now turn on her X-Men universe. She stands at his side. That's how they are romantic partners. It explains all of the old leaks. It also set up in the Game of Worlds and that whole crazy thing, right? So, dude, I'm just telling you, like, this is a lot of speculation for sure. But considering a lot of the other stuff that we've heard about, I think they're cooking here. I think they're cooking. The questions I have is, how many people are doing this? Because Charles is sus in comics. He is a sus motherfucker. But in the movies, he's usually depicted as, like, being the good one. They just keep it really simple. Charles is good. Will this be the first time that we get the Charles is sus thing? Does Charles know about the Game of Worlds? Is Charles saying, yes, let's destroy this universe? I don't know. Is Magneto saying that? How many people in the X-Men universe know that that's what's going on? If that is what's going on. Right? So that's my number one question is like, who knows about this? Because in 616, by the way, this was a big point of contention. Captain America and the regular Avengers did not know the Illuminati was doing this shit. At some point, Cap realizes he gets his memories back. And he realizes that they're out there killing worlds, and then he goes to hunt down the Illuminati at all costs. So maybe the people of the X-Men universe don't even know that their Illuminati is out there destroying worlds. And everything we just talked about, right? We just yabbed for like 15 minutes here. Everything I just talked about is all juicy. It makes the movie seem so much more interesting to me. It's all the flavor I was looking for from Time Runs Out. And just a simple little scoop about how this X-Men universe is destroying universes. Holy shit. That activates all sorts of ideas for me, man. That's really fucking cool. And also, so much cooler than what My Time to Shine was trying to make this movie out to be. I mean, dude, if you ask Shine, and I'm not even kidding, like, I'm not trying to be rude. You deadass ask her what the movie's about, she'll be like, oh, it's just lame, and they're just doing this, and it's lame. No. The Russo brothers have been thinking about how to utilize the X-Men for like 8 fucking years. They have incredible ideas for how to utilize these characters, how to put this together. I'm not saying we know for sure Doomsday is going to be perfect. Hell no, that's not what I'm saying. But as a Marvel fan, brother, they're cooking. We've been waiting for this. This is the main course. Like, this is going to be juicy, baby. So, I love this scoop, man. I think it's so cool. X-Men destroying other universes. What do you all think? I want to know what you guys think about this. Like, what do you think about this? Because it's wild to me, brother. Oh, this is... Oh, dude, if we're going to get to see evil X-Men Illuminati actually taking out planets, like, deadass, they could kill Toby's universe in the first fucking scene, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. Josh, you should start a catering business because goddamn, you cooking W this one. Yeah, we're cooking. I'm so sweaty right now. Yeah, man. I wonder if Doom gets called Tony and then starts referring to himself as Tony just to play on people. Yeah, maybe. Onslaught. Ooh, that could be wild, brother. Onslaught. I feel like fan theories are always way cooler than what they actually do. Yeah. I know that feeling. I'm familiar with that. Yeah. The Exorcist says, Juicy is Wanda joining an evil version of the guy who caused her parents, Pietro Vision, to die. Wanda and Tony is such a huge unresolved thread. Yeah. Yeah, there's something to that. I mean, the other thing that I think is really weird about this, right? So Doom, if this happens, Doom is manipulating her. Like, you guys understand that? If this is real, Doom is manipulating her, which, by the way, is different. In the comics, he's a little bit more pure intentioned. Of course, he's Doctor Doom. But like if they go this route in the film, he is manipulating her. And one of the reasons I know that is because that's not Wanda he's standing next to in that concept art. It's Sue. So this dude is trifling. He's double timing. So on the one hand, he's flirting with the Scarlet Witch to use her power. And then when it all comes to Battleworld, he's going to be married to Sue. And he's going to have Franklin as a kid, right? Yeah. Kaylin J says, that's very spooky. The mutant utopia is painted as a peaceful universe, but the truth is uncovered. I also wonder if Doom will take Binary's bangles. Yeah, there's something there. I wonder if the other universes are like that as well now. You know? Yeah, it truly is interesting that you would present a utopia and then there's this really dark secret. But again, that is Time Runs Out. That was the juice of Time Runs Out. So if they found a way to figure that out, that's cool, man. Yeah, that's cool. What if Steve goes after evil Illuminati and that's how Doom goes after Cap? Yeah, maybe. There could be something to that, yeah. Would Doom try to take Wakanda's powers? Yeah, I would say so, certainly. But there's just other artifacts within the multiverse that are potentially more powerful than that. But, yeah, sure. I think the Secret Middle movie is going to, quote, Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy. If there is a Secret Middle movie, I would expect it's going to explain some of the things that we see in Doomsday. And I think that would be the Time Runs Out stuff, right? So maybe the Black Priest, the Black Swans, Illuminati and other universes. Yeah. Javier Mendez, appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the $2 holla. How do you see Wakanda universe fit into this? So I would imagine... So it's going to kind of depend on a couple of different things because unlike the X-Men and Doctor Doom, we do have some evidence of like mutants and Wakandans in 616. So the thing that's tough, right, is Wakanda and the Black Panther and everybody, they exist in the sacred timeline. So perhaps if there is a Black Panther universe, a Wakandan universe, it would be more the fact that like in the 60s, T'Challa was there. Because, like, here's something that's kind of interesting. In 838, Doctor Strange happens earlier. His accident happens 4 years earlier. Therefore, he already has the powers by the time Thanos arrives. And we know that Doctor Strange is still performing surgery in 616 when Thanos arrives because of Hulk's conversation with the Ancient One. The point is, in the Sacred Timeline, it seems like things were delayed. Maybe they were inevitable, but they were delayed. So, like, the X-Men are barely starting to pop up, right? Mutant genes starting to pop up. Wakanda starting to assert itself. Maybe the vibranium itself doesn't get discovered as early in 616. So, what I think, if there is a Wakandan universe, it is probably the case that T'Challa happened way earlier, and that's why Toussaint is aged up now as T'Challa. So we're like a generation ahead, and that whole universe probably just has way more technology because I would imagine it's like a version where T'Challa enters the world and actually gives its tech out, and his father like actually does it. Yeah. That's just my interpretation of it, but yeah. Yeah, Space Wakanda, exactly. Like, there's been versions of this in the comics, but yeah. Yeah. T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, not T'Child. Well, unfortunately, guys, I think it's going to be T'Child. I think it is going to be T'Child, and I think what they'll say is T'Challa existed, lived a whole long life, raised his son, built the empire, but he did die. It's a natural death. He died. And now you've got this T'Challa. And I know we don't all love that, and, you know, I'm not going to get into the weeds on that, but I think that's what it is. Just from the reporting, just from what I've heard, that's what I think it is. Now, you could just as easily, if I were Marvel, you could literally just as easily say, oh, well, yeah, but there's also still a T'Challa in this universe. And maybe it's father and son. You could absolutely just as easily do that. But I'm just telling you what I think they're going to do, and it's not that. Do you think we'll see Nick Cage as Ghost Rider in Doomsday or Secret Wars? Yes, but I think it's more of a Secret Wars thing. All right, anything else on this shit with the universes, the evil X-Men, the Wanda's stuff? This is all pretty crazy. Any other comments on this? How will they go about actually destroying the universes? Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, if you look at Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, right? When we go to that universe where that evil Stephen Strange is, his universe has been destroyed. And that Stephen says, I was protecting my universe until I lost to him. Who is him? And why does it now look like his universe is totally fucked? Is that what it looks like? Like, are we just going to visit more universes like that? I'm not really sure. That's a good question. Yeah. Doom Death Star leak from back got me mega hype. Hopefully they do that. I would love that. Unfortunately, it came from a pretty bad source. I continue to think that James Macweld guy does not actually have sources. So, unfortunately, like, if something comes from James Mack, it's probably not real. Yeah. All right, well, let's call it on that segment. Let's see if we crash the stream here, and there's other things that we got to talk about, so we'll see.